personal injury lawsuit against workers' compensation claim. Win the recovery award you deserve. The rights of the worker. What do you know of it? What if you get injured while performing your duties according to the description of your job? What are the best possible actions to take? The regular worker is entitled to a compensation system that is specifically designed to deter lawsuits by a Tampa personal injury attorney and to handle matters that are work-related away from the judicial system. Moreover, this is to establish the responsibility of the employer/insurer to report and note workers' compensation's accident information. This delineates the purpose of a personal injury lawsuit against the former, since it is intended to seek monetary recovery from injuries that have been incurred inside the workplace and out from unsafe practices, environment and equipment. Processing of personal injury claim. Initially, personal injury lawsuit is submitted and filed in the applicable state court. This is critical to each scenario because there are laws that cover specific jurisdictions. The injured plaintiff and the representing Tampa personal injury attorney requests to claim from a third party for specific damages the victim suffered from or incurred to the client's body or property as a repercussion of the negligence by the said third party. In this specific personal injury lawsuit, case in point scenario would be that the defendant may argue with a number of defenses to decline the plaintiff of the claim request in full extent. Procedures of a workers' compensation claim. Basically, forms are procured and reproduced, if and only if the worker is insured on the job. Claims handling entity, be it either the employer or the insurer, files the complete and legible documents with the Florida Department of Financial Services, Division of Workers' Compensation, at 200 East Gaines Street, Tallahassee, Florida 32399 to 4226, unless otherwise advised. Once it is proven and determined that the accident occurred and the worker was ultimately injured within the work premises, most commonly, compensations are given on either the weekly or bi-weekly basis, including the medical benefits accordingly. Hence, a personal injury lawsuit is not filed. The question on the responsibility of the employer over the negligence would then be considered irrelevant as long as it is determined that the employee incurred in fact an injury during the performance of duties. On the contrary, a Tampa personal injury attorney may present a lawsuit such as that the employer is due to stand not on defense against the injury or the specifics of it, rather, for disputes they can make against the enormity of the claim. What is then the first course of action? It could not be stressed out more that in the immediate occurrence of an accident while on the job, any employee must note the specifics, that is time, mode of accident, place and the people involved, then report it to the employer directly. Such action would protect your rights and your workers' compensation claims nonetheless. What about a personal injury lawsuit apart from the workers' compensation? Generally, work-related injuries fall under the avenue of workers' compensation laws and cannot be brought to case as a personal injury lawsuit. However, there are certain cases that would entail complex exemptions to this. In this case, a personal injury attorney Tampa, Florida would be of great help in determining these issues for you to take the best action possible. In a scenario, say you are an employee who is traveling and you got into an accident. Case in point, granting that you are insured, yes, you are entitled to a workers' compensation. On the other hand, it would not be considered a work-related injury since you were not in the vicinity of your workplace. Conversely, the fact that you would not acquire any injury had you not traveled. A Tampa personal injury attorney can determine which issues are to be dealt with according to workers' compensation law and which would fall under a personal injury lawsuit. Most importantly, in these two types of monetary recovery, they may differ substantially according to the coverage of the recovery that can be awarded. Since workers' compensations are governed by state laws, Florida's state law details that if an injured party been approved of the claim, he or she may be entitled of the following: immediate financial medical expenses, wage loss benefits due to permanent impairment, wage loss benefits for temporary, partial disability, temporary disability benefits, and permanent income benefits, permanent total and permanent total supplemental benefits. Generally, the said benefits are handed by the insurance company of the employer. Oftentimes, they do measures including attempting to settle for a lesser amount of claim that is due of you. This is another aspect when one must need to seek advice from a Tampa personal injury attorney so they can better evaluate the situation and evaluate the settlement agreement offered by the insurance company. This is done by assessing the extent of damage after the final diagnosis of the physician is given and the impact this has on the life of the client, making this a highly case-specific evaluation since it can vary from every set of circumstances. For personal injury lawsuits, the plaintiff's injuries and the level of negligence will be assessed thoroughly. The end result of a lawsuit where negligence is concerned is most usually difficult to qualify and predict because determining how much care a reasonable person would have exercised is complex. This in case we have a reasonable person standard which is normally imprecise, ambiguous and unclear in the perception of various personalities. Time and again, something that was reasonable and in the bracket of standards in the past may appear seemingly unreasonable with the benefit of hindsight. Seeking advice from a Tampa personal injury attorney who significantly has an experience with how juries typically interpret the reasonable person standard is, and consequently, the most important step to successfully defend a personal injury lawsuit. Compensations for specific monetary losses such as past, on-site and future medical expenses, wages lost during the treatment, household services and any projected future earnings can be entailed. Other aspects, such as pain, suffering and other psychosocial entities are some that can be covered by the personal injury lawyer, which otherwise is not awarded in a workers' compensation claim. These and other recommendations must be inquired from a highly dependable Tampa personal injury attorney in the specific state of jurisdiction. http://www.accidentspersonalinjurylawfirms.com/ Francisco Rodriguez is the online marketing manager for personal injury solicitors to represent clients wanting to pursue a personal injury claim on a no-win, no-fee basis.